What's up, everybody? Maddox Rush here, and I'm about to bring you guys the most insane Murdock build that I came across in a quick battle. Um, you'll want to watch this entire video and see how impressive and how powerful this build is. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go over the skills real quick, and then we'll go into the item descriptions and the chronological order of which skill to get and where and what item to grab. Um, so obviously for Murdock, you primarily want to focus on your Q button and your right mouse click button. E isn't really potential or isn't really necessary because it makes you stagnant. You have to stay in one position. Maybe later on in the game it can become more beneficial, given that whenever an enemy is running away, you can get that last final touch on them. But in the beginning, you really just want to focus on Q and your right mouse click button, and then whenever you can level up your ultimate, that's when you want to spec into your ultimate. So here I'm just going through selecting Q and right mouse click, Q right mouse click, and then obviously I'll go my ultimate at level 6, and then you just want to max out Q and right mouse click button, your target check, and then your shock bullet. And then whenever, like I said, your ultimate becomes available, spec into that, and then later on, at higher level, is just put your remaining points in the commence of barrage. So your Q button is pretty much just a barrage of missiles that it sends. You can kind of like poke at the enemy with this, kind of neat, and it does later on. It does a relatively good amount of damage as well, and it locks onto them, so you don't have to worry about your skills missing. Your right mouse button pretty much knocks the enemy player back, which allows you to get more distance from the enemy, especially because your range is very beneficial, and it actually does quite a decent amount of damage as well. So the next thing we'll go into is the items that you want to grab. So oftentimes, for whatever reason, I'll skip over the first little gem that you get right when you load into the game. It's up to you. It really doesn't matter. But the first gem that I will get, if I do, is the red gem, just based off of the teleportation ability and then the little physical attack power, and you got a little bit of regeneration here and there. Do what you want to do at this point. Honestly, if you want to go straight into the build, that's up to you. Or if you want to grab the red stone, then I'll grab this yellow stone. So essentially, what it does, it turns your physical power into magical damage every 4 basic shots. Plus, you get your 20% critical strike rating and your 20%, 30% attack speed. This build is all based off of attack speed, so you'll see how this will come into play later on. Plus, this gem just allows you to get that final killing blow on one of the Tions to gain more gold. The next one that I will go into is the sword, and you'll see here also 70 physical power, very beneficial. Plus, you get your 20% critical strike, which for the passive is massive. This game, when it comes to critical strike, is absolutely broken. So both the gem and the sword will give you a 40% critical strike rating total, which allow the passive to activate and increase your critical damage by 25%. I'll just go ahead and show you guys right now the attack speed and just the critical strike damage that you do. It's pretty impressive. 2 items, I would probably say you're right around like level 8, 9 maybe, I'm not too sure, but already hitting 367 critical strike damage, 184 base, and then it's impressive. And as the build just keeps going on, you just become more and more impactful on the game. So the next couple items, they're all interchangeable. You can really get what item whenever you want. So the third item I'll sometimes get, depending on how I feel, is going to be the Witch's Vial, mainly because of the 40 attack power, 20% attack speed, and 20% critical strike rating. And then obviously this item has a pretty neat passive ability. Whenever you hit a critical strike with your basic attack, or I'm not sure, maybe even a skill attack, but primarily with your basic attack, you'll increase your attack speed by 15% for 3 seconds. And you'll see later on this buff will not wear off whatsoever, just because you're hitting critical strikes so often. So, and here you can see how impressive and how fast Murdock is already shooting, and the damage capabilities of him. So this build will mainly be focused on basic attacks, not necessarily using the skills and that kind of stuff, just because the basic attacks are so powerful and the critical strike damage is just broken. The next item I'll get is the jewelry box, and it's mainly for obviously the physical power and then the attack speed as well. Plus, it does additional damage. I believe it's 5% to enemy players. So it's really beneficial. And here you'll see again. You'll see this entire build come into fruition, and just how fast your basic attack starts shooting. You start hitting 527, 157 magical damage here and there. I think it's every 4th basic attack, and it's ridiculous. When I saw this build, nobody was able to compete. It's ridiculous. And then at this point, obviously, you can sell your red gem to get a little bit of extra gold here and there. And these last couple items, again, it's just however you want to build it. You just want to mainly focus on attack speed and critical strike rating. I see a lot of Murdocks and other ranged physical attack damage get the, I call it the dessert, but you can get this this watch, which is very impressive because it reduces your skill cooldown time, plus it's got attack speed and physical power. If you don't want to select this one, you can go, depending on the enemy composition, you can either get the short sword, which reduces the enemy's healing by 15%, or you can find, actually, I forget what it's called. We'll have to continue watching this video, but you see this build is just ridiculous, and it just gives, with the last item coming into play as well, you see it's just that much faster. 613 critical strike damage. The firing rate is ridiculous. Every 4th basic attack you get magical damage based off your physical power, and it's insane. I was blown away when I saw this build, and I've used it in custom battles as well, just to test it out on a couple of my buddies, and there's no stopping it. But like I said, you can either get the short sword here for the reduced healing, obviously attack speed, critical rate, increased critical strike, or for more survivability, you can get the emergency treatment with the lifesteal. Also comes with attack speed, very beneficial in this build. And then you can get the dessert, which also attack speed, critical strike rating, and physical power. It all depends on how you want to finish out your build. And like I said, these last 3 or 4 items are interchangeable. You can grab them whenever, however you want. The first 2 items, like I said, you want to get are the Yellowstone and then the sword, just based off of the critical strike damage increase, which is, like I said before, absolutely broken in this game. But here you go, 5 items. Murdock is essentially shooting a machine gun, hitting for 673 every single time, 194 random magical damage. It's insane. As long as you keep your distance, and nobody will be able to touch you. Nobody. And then, like I said, you have your right mouse click button. If they do get too close, to push the enemy back, and you just go again. I love this build, and it's absolutely impressive in whatever match you're going to be in. So that pretty much just sums up the entire build here. Electric Stone for the AoE magical damage, attack speed, and a critical strike rating to allow you to get the sword, which also gives you 20% critical strike rating, and you get that massive buff from the passive. And then interchangeable items here, you got the Witch's Vial, for the physical damage nullification or defense nullification. You got the merchant's jewelry box, the dessert, and then you got the watch as well. Let me know what you guys think of this build. Drop a comment down low. Let me know what you guys would change about it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll be releasing more and more builds as I become more comfortable with each hero. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.